When Leon first entered Raccoon City, he was not a legendary government agent, an expert in biological warfare, or one of the most capable fighters in the world. He was a 21-year-old rookie police officer arriving for his first day of work. He expected to begin a normal career in law enforcement. Instead, he entered a city that had already collapsed beneath an outbreak created by the Umbrella Corporation. By the end of that night, Leon had survived monsters, uncovered evidence of illegal biological research, protected a young girl named Sherry Birkin, and formed a complicated connection with a mysterious spy named Ada Wong. Surviving Raccoon City did not allow Leon to return to an ordinary life. The United States government recognized his abilities, used Sherry's safety as leverage, and forced him into a new career as a federal agent. Over the following decades, Leon fought parasites, viruses, cults, corrupt officials, arms dealers, and biological weapons designed to destroy entire populations. He became stronger and more experienced, but every mission carried him further away from the idealistic young officer he had once been. His story begins in 1998, on the night Raccoon City died. Leon graduated from the police academy and accepted a position with the Raccoon Police Department. The city appeared prosperous because of the influence of Umbrella, an international pharmaceutical company that provided jobs, funding, and political support. Behind that respectable public image, Umbrella conducted illegal experiments involving mutagenic viruses and biological weapons. During the summer of 1998, strange murders were reported in the Arklay Mountains outside the city. Members of the police department's special unit, known as STARS, investigated the incidents and discovered an outbreak at the Spencer Mansion. The surviving officers attempted to expose Umbrella, but the company used its influence to suppress their warnings. By September, the infection had spread into Raccoon City. Leon arrived later than originally planned. That delay probably saved his life. Because most of his future colleagues had already been killed or infected. At a gas station outside the city, Leon encountered his first infected civilian. The attacker continued moving after suffering injuries that should have stopped an ordinary person. Leon escaped and met Claire Redfield, who had traveled to Raccoon City while searching for her brother, Chris Redfield. They entered the city together, but a tanker explosion separated them. Before taking different routes, they agreed to meet at the police station. Leon continued through streets filled with abandoned vehicles, burning buildings, infected civilians, and the remains of failed defensive positions. The Raccoon Police Department had become both a shelter and a grave. Inside, Leon met Lieutenant Marvin Branna, one of the last officers still capable of helping him. Marvin had been bitten and understood that he would eventually transform, but he continued guiding Leon and encouraged him to escape. Leon could not save him. This became one of the first lessons Raccoon City forced upon Leon. Wanting to protect someone was not always enough. As Leon explored the station, he discovered creatures that could not be explained as ordinary infected humans. Lickers moved across walls and ceilings with exposed brains and powerful claws. A massive tyrant pursued survivors through the building with extraordinary resilience. These creatures proved that the outbreak was not merely an accident. Umbrella had deliberately created organisms intended for military use. Leon also met Ada Wong. Ada claimed that she was searching for a man connected to Umbrella, but her real purpose was to obtain a sample of the G virus. She was working as a spy and concealed her true identity from Leon. Leon believed she was another survivor caught inside the disaster. He helped her move through the police station, the sewers, and the underground laboratory beneath the city. The deeper they traveled, the more Leon trusted her. At the center of the outbreak was Dr. William Birkin, one of Umbrella's leading researchers. Birkin developed the G virus, a mutagen capable of producing continuous biological transformation. When Umbrella sent soldiers to seize his research, Birkin was shot and left to die. He injected himself with the G virus and transformed into a powerful creature. Each time Birkin suffered severe damage, the virus rebuilt his body in a more dangerous form. His intelligence and identity gradually disappeared beneath uncontrolled mutation. Birkin's actions also placed his daughter Sherry in danger. Because she was genetically related to him, the virus considered her a compatible host. William implanted Sherry with a G embryo. Claire became Sherry's main protector and searched for a cure. Leon's journey remained connected to them as he continued toward Umbrella's laboratory with Ada. Annette Birkin eventually revealed Ada's true objective. Leon resisted the accusation at first because accepting it meant admitting that Ada had manipulated him from the moment they met. When he confronted her, Ada admitted enough of the truth to destroy the identity she had presented. During the confrontation, Ada was injured and fell from a platform. Leon caught her hand and attempted to pull her back, but she released her grip. Leon believed that she had fallen to her death. He continued through the laboratory as its destruction sequence began. The tyrant transformed into a more powerful form and nearly overwhelmed him. At the critical moment, Ada secretly returned and provided Leon with a rocket launcher. Leon used it to destroy the tyrant. He escaped the laboratory and reunited with Claire and Sherry aboard an underground train. William Birkin attacked one final time, but the survivors defeated him and escaped before the facility collapsed. Leon entered Raccoon City as a rookie police officer. He left as one of the few people who understood the scale of Umbrella's crimes. The United States government took Leon and Sherry into custody after the incident. Officials recognized Leon's survival skills and knowledge of biological weapons. They also understood that Sherry's remaining connection to the G-virus made her extremely valuable. Leon was offered a position working for the government, but the offer was not entirely voluntary. Sherry's safety depended on his cooperation. He accepted. Leon underwent intensive training in firearms, close combat, survival, intelligence gathering, and counter-terrorism. The inexperienced police officer who had struggled through the Raccoon Police Department became an elite government operative. His new career gave him the power to save more people, but it also removed much of his freedom. Several years after Raccoon City, Leon was sent to South America with a soldier named Jack Krauser. Their mission involved Javier Hidalgo, a powerful criminal who had obtained biological material connected to Umbrella. Javier used the T. Veronica virus in an attempt to save his daughter, Manuela. The treatment allowed Manuela to survive, but the surrounding experiments caused another biological disaster. Leon and Krauser fought through infected regions and discovered that Manuela could control aspects of the virus without completely losing her identity. Krauser suffered a serious injury during the operation. The injury damaged his military career and changed the way he viewed power. Leon continued believing that their duty was to protect Manuela and stop Javier. Krauser became increasingly obsessed with the strength offered by biological enhancement. After Javier was defeated, Krauser's resentment continued growing. He eventually sought contact with Albert Wesker and accepted biological power for himself. This decision placed him on a path that would bring him into conflict with Leon. In 2004, the daughter of the President of the United States was kidnapped. Ashley Graham had been taken to an isolated region of Spain. Leon was sent to locate and rescue her. The mission appeared to involve a conventional kidnapping, but Leon soon discovered that the villagers were controlled by parasites known as Las Plagas. Unlike the zombies of Raccoon City, the infected villagers could communicate, use tools, coordinate attacks, and follow complex orders. A religious cult called Los Iluminados had revived the parasites under the leadership of Osmund Saddler. Saddler planned to implant Ashley with a parasite and return her to the United States. Once the parasite developed, he hoped to control her and gain influence over the president. Leon was captured and infected with a parasite as well. From that moment, the mission became a race against time. Leon had to protect Ashley, stop the cult, and remove both parasites before Saddler gained control over them. The operation demonstrated how much Leon had changed since Raccoon City. He was now calm under pressure, highly trained, and capable of surviving situations that would destroy an ordinary soldier. He fought through the village, an ancient castle, underground laboratories, and a fortified island. Ashley initially depended on Leon for protection, but she gradually became more confident and helped him during moments when the environment separated them. Leon never treated her as a package or political objective. She was a person he had promised to bring home. During the mission, Leon discovered that Ada Wong was alive. Seeing her again forced him to confront emotions he had never resolved. Ada was once more working toward a hidden objective, this time involving a dominant plaga sample. She withheld information and pursued her own mission, but she also repeatedly helped Leon survive. Their relationship remained defined by contradiction. Leon knew that Ada could not be fully trusted, but he continued believing that part of her cared about what happened to him. Leon also reunited with Jack Krauser. Krauser had infiltrated Los Illuminados while secretly working with Wesker. A dominant parasite had enhanced his body and allowed him to transform his arm into a biological weapon. Krauser believed that power was the only protection against weakness. His injury and treatment by the government had convinced him that loyalty and duty were meaningless. Leon had also been used by the government, but he refused to allow resentment to destroy his responsibility toward others. Their battle was therefore more than a fight between two trained operatives. Krauser believed strength justified his choices. Leon believed strength created an obligation to protect people. Leon defeated Krauser and continued toward Saddler. Leon and Ashley eventually reached equipment capable of removing the parasites from their bodies. The procedure succeeded, freeing them from Saddler's control. With Ada's assistance, Leon defeated Saddler. Ada took the dominant parasite sample and escaped. Before leaving, she gave Leon a way to escape the island with Ashley. The president's daughter returned home safely, and the mission became one of Leon's greatest successes. However, the parasite research did not disappear. Biological material continued moving through criminal networks and secret organizations. Leon had stopped one disaster, but the larger biological weapons market continued expanding. In 2005, a zombie outbreak erupted at Harvardville Airport. Leon was sent to assist with the rescue operation and reunited with Claire Redfield. Their meeting showed how differently the two survivors of Raccoon City had responded to the same trauma. Leon had entered government service and become an armed operative. Claire had joined TerraSave, a humanitarian organization dedicated to helping victims of bioterrorism and exposing the institutions responsible. Leon worked inside the system. Claire challenged it from outside. The outbreak was connected to Curtis Miller, a survivor who had lost his family in Raccoon City. Curtis wanted the United States government to reveal the truth about its connections to Umbrella. His anger was understandable, but his methods endangered innocent people. The conspiracy also involved Frederick Downing, a former Umbrella researcher who intended to profit by selling both viruses and treatments. Curtis infected himself with the G virus and transformed into a powerful creature. Leon fought him inside a research facility, while Claire helped expose Downing's plan. The incident reinforced a pattern Leon had seen repeatedly. Governments concealed information, victims demanded justice, and opportunists used both sides to distribute new weapons. In 2006, Leon became involved in a conspiracy connected to Penhamstan. A cyber attack against the White House led Leon into an investigation involving infected soldiers and concealed biological experiments. Leon encountered Jason, a soldier celebrated as a hero after surviving a secret operation. Jason and other members of his unit had been infected. They required regular medication to prevent mutation, which allowed powerful officials to control them. Jason wanted the public to experience the same fear he had endured. He believed that fear was the only force capable of exposing government crimes. Leon recognized the corruption surrounding the case, but he could not allow Jason to terrorize innocent people. Jason transformed after losing access to the medication controlling his infection. Leon prevented him from reaching the surface. Claire obtained evidence that could expose the official responsible for the conspiracy and asked Leon to release it. Leon refused because he believed the information could create a larger national crisis. The decision damaged their relationship. It also demonstrated how deeply Leon had become tied to government service. The rookie officer from Raccoon City might have exposed everything immediately. The experienced agent had learned that the truth could also be used as a weapon. In 2011, Leon entered the Eastern Slav Republic during a civil war. He was sent to investigate reports that biological weapons were being used in the conflict. When the United States withdrew support and ordered him to leave, Leon refused. He had already discovered evidence that civilians and resistance fighters were trapped between infected creatures and a government biological weapons program. The rebels used dominant plagoparasites to control lickers. Their method gave ordinary fighters access to dangerous biological weapons, but the parasites slowly destroyed the hosts. Leon encountered Alexander Kazakhenko, known as Buddy, who used a dominant parasite to support the resistance. President Svetlana Balakova secretly maintained her own biological weapons program and deployed advanced tyrants against the rebels. Leon fought beside Buddy as the conflict collapsed. Ada was also present, operating under another identity while searching for biological material. After the operation, Buddy asked Leon to kill him rather than allow the parasite to control his body. Leon refused to accept death as the only solution. He disabled the parasite's control while leaving Buddy alive, although the injuries left him unable to walk. The decision reflected Leon's central belief. As long as someone could still be saved, he would search for another option. In 2013, President Adam Benford prepared to reveal the truth about the United States government's involvement in the destruction of Raccoon City. Before he could make the announcement, a bioterrorist attack struck tall oaks. The president became infected. When he attacked, Leon was forced to shoot him. This was one of the most painful moments of Leon's career. Adam Benford was not merely the president. He was a man Leon respected and someone connected to the program that had shaped Leon's life after Raccoon City. Helena Harper, a Secret Service agent, claimed that she knew who had caused the attack. Leon followed her through the infected city while government authorities treated both of them as suspects. The C-virus had transformed civilians into zombies and soldiers into creatures known as Javo. These infected enemies could use weapons, coordinate attacks, and develop new mutations after suffering injuries. The attack had been organized through a conspiracy involving Derek Simmons, a senior official connected to a secret organization known as the Family. Simmons believed President Benford's planned confession would destabilize the United States. To prevent it, he allowed tall oaks to be destroyed. Thousands of people were sacrificed to preserve a secret. Helena had been forced to assist because Simmons' organization had kidnapped her sister, Deborah. When Leon and Helena found Deborah, she had already been infected. She transformed, and they were forced to fight her. The conspiracy also involved a woman who appeared to be Ada Wong. The woman was actually Carla Raddimes, a researcher whose body and identity had been altered by Simmons until she resembled Ada. Carla eventually turned against Simmons and created Neo Umbrella. She intended to destroy the stable world Simmons had tried to preserve. The real Ada began investigating after discovering that someone was using her identity. Leon followed the crisis to Lanxiang, China, where he crossed paths with Chris Redfield. Chris believed Ada had murdered members of his team and intended to kill her. Leon stopped him because he believed the situation was more complicated. For a brief moment, two of the most experienced heroes in the series aimed their weapons at one another. The confrontation ended without either man firing. Leon and Helena later fought Simmons after he infected himself with the enhanced C-virus. His body transformed repeatedly into enormous predatory forms. They eventually destroyed him, and evidence cleared them of responsibility for the president's death. Leon survived, but tall oaks had been lost. Once again, stopping the person responsible could not restore the lives destroyed by the outbreak. Years of fighting biological weapons gradually damaged Leon. He had entered this conflict as an idealistic young officer. By his late 30s, he had watched cities fall, governments lie, partners die, and victims transform into creatures he was forced to kill. During an operation involving the weapons dealer Glenn Arias, members of Leon's team were killed. The failed mission pushed him toward exhaustion and despair. Chris Redfield later found Leon drinking alone. Leon questioned how many times they would be expected to save the world when every defeated organization was replaced by another. Chris understood the exhaustion, but he reminded Leon that abandoning the fight would leave innocent people defenseless. Leon returned to the mission. Arias had developed the A virus, which allowed infected creatures to distinguish between allies and designated enemies. Leon joined Chris and Rebecca Chambers to stop an attack against New York City. Rebecca developed a vaccine, while Leon and Chris fought through Arias's forces. Leon helped distribute the treatment and destroy Arias before the outbreak could spread beyond control. The mission proved that Leon had not lost his sense of purpose. He was tired and emotionally damaged, but when people needed him, he still returned. In 2015, Leon was assigned to recover Dr. Antonio Taylor, a specialist accused of selling classified information. The investigation eventually led to Alcatraz Island and connected Leon with Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, and Rebecca Chambers. The threat came from Dylan Blake, another survivor of Raccoon City. Dylan believed governments, corporations, and organizations were all fundamentally corrupt. He argued that heroes such as Leon and the others were not changing the system. They were preserving it by stopping disasters, while allowing the institutions behind those disasters to survive. Dylan infected Leon, Chris, and Claire, while forcing Jill to confront the apparent failure of their work. Rebecca arrived with a vaccine and treated them. Leon then fought Maria Gomez, who wanted revenge for the death of her father during the operation against Glenn Arias. After defeating Maria, Leon joined the others in the final battle against Dylan, who merged with a biological weapon and transformed into a massive creature. Together, they destroyed him. Dylan had been correct that the system repeatedly failed. Governments concealed crimes, corporations created weapons, and civilians paid the price. His conclusion was still wrong. The existence of corruption did not make every rescued life meaningless. Leon could not erase Raccoon City or guarantee that another virus would never be created. He could still prevent the next victim from dying. More than a decade later, Leon's story returned to the place where it began. By 2026, Leon had spent almost 30 years fighting biological weapons. He was older, more experienced, and visibly marked by the life he had lived. His confidence remained, but it was no longer the confidence of a young agent who believed skill could solve every problem. Leon carried the accumulated weight of Raccoon City, Spain, Tall Oaks, and every mission that followed. A new series of deaths began affecting survivors connected to the Raccoon City incident. The victims suffered from a condition associated with lingering viral mutations. Leon was also affected, making the investigation personally dangerous. At the same time, Federal Bureau of Investigation analyst Grace Ashcroft investigated the abandoned Wrenwood Hotel. Grace was the daughter of journalist Alyssa Ashcroft, a survivor of the original Raccoon City outbreak. Alyssa had later been murdered at the hotel while investigating secrets connected to Umbrella. Grace's investigation led her into a conspiracy involving Victor Gideon, a former Umbrella scientist. Victor abducted Grace and triggered another outbreak by infecting civilians with the T virus. Leon witnessed Victor escaping with her and followed the trail. Grace was taken to the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, where she encountered infected patients, mutated creatures, and evidence of experiments connected to Umbrella's past. Leon entered the facility while his own condition continued worsening. The two protagonists approached the crisis differently. Grace was an analyst with limited combat experience. She survived through observation, caution, and problem-solving. Leon had fought biological weapons for decades. His sections of the operation were more direct and violent because hesitation could no longer protect him. Their paths became connected through a blind girl named Emily and a mysterious project known as Elpis. Victor believed Elpis was the ultimate creation of Umbrella founder Oswald Spencer. He interpreted incomplete research as evidence that Elpis could become a weapon capable of controlling entire populations. The conspiracy also involved the criminal organization known as the Connections. Leon and Grace eventually followed the investigation into the ruins of Raccoon City. For Leon, returning was not simply another assignment. The destroyed city was the place where his adult life had begun. It was where he met Claire and Ada, where he failed to save Marvin, and where he protected Sherry. Every decision he had made afterward was connected to that night. Leon entered the ruins while Sherry Birkin supported the operation. Sherry was no longer the frightened child he had helped rescue. She had become a capable agent in her own right. Her presence completed one of the most important arcs in Leon's life. He had accepted government service partly to protect her, and she had grown into someone capable of standing beside him. Beneath the ruins, Leon and Grace discovered the truth about Elpis. It was not the mind control weapon Victor expected. Elpis was a powerful antiviral, capable of neutralizing viral biological weapons. The discovery represented something rare in Leon's life. For decades, every scientific breakthrough he encountered had created another method of mutation, control, or destruction. Elpis offered the possibility of reversal. Leon was cured when Grace used it against the infection threatening his body. Victor refused to accept the truth. He continued interpreting Spencer's work through his own obsession and transformed into a powerful creature. Leon confronted him inside the collapsing facility. The battle returned Leon to the central conflict that had defined him since 1998. A former Umbrella scientist had taken knowledge intended to change the future and turned it into another weapon. Innocent people were trapped inside the consequences. Leon killed Victor and escaped with Grace. The exposure of the underground facility created a global scandal involving Umbrella, the Connections, and the United States government. The truth about Raccoon City could no longer remain buried in the same way. Grace later used Elpis to cure Emily, while Sherry was also freed from the condition affecting survivors. For Leon, the outcome was more significant than another defeated monster. He had returned to the city that created him and found something capable of healing the damage left behind. Raccoon City could never be restored. The people who died there could not return. However, its final secret was not another virus. It was a cure. Throughout Leon's life, Ada Wong remained one of his most important and complicated relationships. They met during the worst night of his life. Ada lied to him, used his trust, and disappeared whenever her objectives demanded it. She also saved him repeatedly. Leon understood that Ada could never be completely trusted, but he continued believing that her actions revealed more than her words. Ada represented a life outside official institutions, guided by secrets and personal judgment. Leon represented the possibility that someone could work inside a compromised system without surrendering every moral principle. Their lives repeatedly crossed because neither could completely reject the other. Sherry Birkin represented another side of Leon's legacy. Leon and Claire saved her when she was a child trapped inside a disaster caused by her parents. Leon later accepted government service, partly to keep her safe. Sherry grew into a compassionate agent who understood what it meant to survive infection without losing her humanity. Her life proved that Leon had created something lasting. He had not merely stopped a monster or completed a mission. He had helped a child survive long enough to become a protector herself. Claire Redfield remained connected to Leon through the night that defined both of them. Claire chose humanitarian work and public advocacy. Leon chose government service and direct intervention. Their paths created disagreements, especially when Leon protected classified information that Claire believed should be exposed. Even so, both continued fighting the consequences of Umbrella's research. Claire represented the moral clarity. Leon risked losing inside government service. Leon represented the compromises required to stop immediate threats. They did not always agree, but each understood that the other would risk everything to protect innocent people. Leon's transformation can also be seen in the way he fights. In Raccoon City, he survived through caution, determination, and assistance from others. In Spain, he had become an elite agent capable of defeating trained soldiers, parasites, and enhanced opponents. By the time he returned to Raccoon City in 2026, Leon had decades of experience. His movements were efficient because every hesitation had once cost someone a life. His greatest strength was never simply physical. Leon survived because he adapted. He entered situations with incomplete information, recognized patterns quickly, and continued after every original plan had failed. More importantly, he retained empathy. Leon understood that most infected people had once been civilians, soldiers, researchers, or children whose bodies were stolen from them. Whenever a cure existed, he searched for it. When no cure remained, he did what was necessary. That balance defined him. He was compassionate without becoming incapable of action. He was dangerous without becoming cruel. Leon often responded to danger with calm remarks and dry humor. These habits did not mean he was unaffected. They helped him maintain control. He had watched friends and partners die. He had been manipulated by spies, used by governments, and forced to kill people he wanted to save. He had also been infected more than once. The emotional distance he developed was a survival mechanism. If Leon processed every loss during a mission, he would become unable to function. So he continued moving. The grief remained for later, but another assignment usually arrived before later came. Leon could have responded to Raccoon City in many ways. He could have become consumed by revenge, have followed Krauser, and pursued biological strength, have followed Dylan, and decided that every institution was beyond saving, and have abandoned government service after learning how often officials concealed the truth. Instead, he continued protecting people. This did not mean Leon blindly trusted the organizations he served. He disobeyed orders, continued abandoned missions, questioned official narratives, and acted according to his own judgment. His loyalty was never truly directed toward a government, a president, or an agency. It belonged to the people who would die if he failed. Leon Scott Kennedy began as an idealistic rookie who wanted to protect a city. Within hours, that city was lost. The disaster took away the ordinary life he expected and placed him inside a global conflict involving biological weapons. The government transformed him into an agent, but it could not completely control the reason he fought. Leon survived Raccoon City. He rescued Ashley Graham from Los Illuminados. He defeated Krauser, exposed international conspiracies, stopped attacks across several countries, and returned to the ruins of Raccoon City almost 30 years after his first night there. Each mission made him faster, stronger, and more dangerous. It also made him more tired. Yet Leon never accepted the idea that repeated failure made resistance meaningless. He understood that he could not permanently end bioterrorism alone. He could not repair every corrupt institution or bring the dead back, still enter the next infected building, still protect the next survivor, and still carry one more person out of the darkness. Krauser believed strength existed to overcome weakness. Simmons believed stability justified sacrificing innocent lives. Arius and Dylan allowed grief to become revenge against the world. Leon experienced loss without deciding that everyone else deserved to suffer. Behind the training, government authority, weapons, and impossible victories, Leon remained guided by the promise, represented by his first uniform: protect whoever can still be saved. Even when the city has already fallen, even when the truth has been buried, even when the mission feels endless, Leon Scott Kennedy is not important only because he survived Raccoon City. He is important because Raccoon City did not destroy the part of him that wanted to save people. After decades of monsters, betrayals, outbreaks, and buried secrets, that remains his greatest achievement.